Hello boys and girls, welcome to this presentation. In this video, we're going to talk about the rest of the questions in Unit 1 revision. Question 8. Question 8. Write each number using standard form. Now we have a bunch of numbers, we're going to turn them into standard form. This question is very easy. If you understood the idea of moving the decimal point, you'll find it very easy. Now, let me explain and you'll understand the idea. If we have a number like this, 3100, how do we make it as a standard form? Now, we all know that a standard form means what? It means a number between 1 and 10, like this, 1 to 10, multiplied by 10 with a power. And this power must not be 0 or 1. So this power must be any number except these numbers. So a standard form is a number which is between 1 and 10 and multiplied by a 10 with a power. So the main rule or the first rule that you have to accomplish is making the number between 1 and 10. As we did here, we made 3100 3.1. Now let me explain to you how did we make it like this, okay? Let me remove these. Let me go back to this, okay? Now let me make the number bigger so you can see. Now, with any number like this, if you don't have a decimal point, it means that the decimal point is here, okay? At the beginning or the end of the number, which is near to the unit. Not the thousands, only the units. If you don't have a decimal point and you want the decimal point so you can move it, it means it's next to the units. Now, I want to move this decimal point to make the number between 1 and 10, as we did here. Now, I will move it to this side. If I'm moving to this side, it means that the power will be positive. Remember this. If I'm moving to this side, it means that the power will be, very good, positive. But if I'm moving the opposite side, like this, it means the power will be negative. Now, let's start moving it. So we're going to move 1, 2, and 3. So how many steps did I move? Very good. I moved 3 times. It means when I put this number as 3.1 between 1 and 10, I moved the decimal point 3 times. So I write 10 power of 3. So because I moved 3 times, it means that the power is 3. And because I moved this way, it means that the power is positive. Now, let's check other questions. Question B. In question B, we have this number here, 29,000. I want to do the same with question A. So if I don't have a decimal point, it means the decimal point is here. And I want to move it so I can get a number between 1 and 10. Now, I will move it like this, so this way, so the power will be positive. Now, let's move it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And because I moved it 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, I moved it 4 times to make the number 2.9. And why did I put it between the 2 and the 9? Because 2.9 is between 1 and 10. And this is one of the rules in standard form. And then I multiplied by a 10. This is the other rule. Multiplied by a 10 with a power. And the power is what? It's positive because of this movement. And how many times did I move here? Very good. I moved 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So it's going to be power of 4. Very good. Now let's move on to the next question. Question C here. Same idea. I'm going to say that this is the decimal point. I'm going to move it to make the number between 1 and 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to write the number 7.15 multiplied by 10 power of what? Very good. 6. Now let's check D. Same idea. No decimal point, it means it's here. Now let's move it to make this number between 1 and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I moved it 10 times and I write 6.9 multiplied by 10 power of 10. I hope you understood the idea. It's very easy once you understand the movement of the decimal point. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 9. In question 9, write each number using standard form. Now, in the first one, question 8, we used positive power because we're moving this way with the decimal point. Now, in question 9, it's the opposite way. We're going to move this way. So the power will be negative. Now, let's check one of the questions and we will understand the idea. Let's take a look at A here. In question A, we have 0.0064. We're going to move the decimal point from here to make the number between 1 and 10. This is very important. And we're moving this way, so the power will be negative. That's so important. Now, let's move it together. 1, 2, 3. Very good. So it's going to be negative 3. Good job. Now let's check question B. Same idea, we're moving the decimal point to make the number between 1 and 10. So 1, 2. So it's going to be 7.2 multiplied by 10 power of negative 2 because we moved 2 times to this side, okay? Good. Now the next one here, C, we're going to move the decimal point together to make it between 1 and 10. So it's going to be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I moved here to make it a 4. So it's going to be 4. And 4 is between 1 and 10. Very good. Multiplied by 10 with a power. And the power depends on the movement that we did. We moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's power of 6. And we moved this way, so it's negative 6. Very good. Now, question D here, we have the same idea. We're going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to make it 2.1. And we are moving to make the number between 1 and 10. Remember this. And then we write multiplied by 10 with a power. And as we said, the power is negative because we're moving this way. Very good. And then how many times did we move will give us the number of the power. So we moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So negative 8. Very good. Now, let's move on to the next question. Question 10 here. Write the numbers in each list in order from smallest to largest. Okay, that's a good question. It's easy to answer. There's two ways to answer this question. One of them is faster and easier, which is using the powers. And the other one is using the calculator to calculate the numbers and finding which one is the biggest, which one is the smallest. Let me show you the easiest way, which is using the powers, okay? Now, the smallest number, as you can see here from question 9, the smallest number here has the biggest power in negative. So the smallest number first has a negative power and the biggest number with a negative power. So negative 8 is the smallest, as you can see. And then it goes down by using small numbers in negative powers. How do you know this? Depending on the line or the number line, here we have 0, here we have negative 1 and negative 8, for example. And here you have 1 and 8. So smaller numbers are here. And then once they go up like this, they become bigger. So the idea of smaller numbers, they have negative powers first, and the opposite to the positive numbers, the bigger the negative number, the smaller the value of a number. Now let me show you how to do this here. Let's take a look at the first group here, group A. Okay. First thing, let's take a look at the powers. Here we have power of 5, negative 2, 2, and negative 7. So which one is the smallest? Very good. The one that has a negative power and the biggest number. So this one is number 1. Let's put number 1 next to it. Which one is after it? Very good. Negative 2. And then with the positive power, we start with the smaller number, which is this one, 3. And then this one, 4. Let me put it here. Do you understand the idea? So again, let me tell you the idea. How do we find the smallest number? By using, very good, number lines. Now, the smallest number has a negative power, okay? And the biggest number in negative powers. So if you find two negative powers, you look for the biggest number in negative powers. So it's going to be negative 8 here. Very good. Now, let's move on. In question B or group B, they will give you the same powers. So, for example here, I want you to take a look at this so you can see it. Here we have negative 1, negative 2, 2, 2, negative 1. So we have numbers with same powers, okay? If you have the same powers, you look at the other number, which is this one, and you compare them, and you see which one is the smallest. Now, let's try it together. First thing, we said that the smallest number has a negative power. Let's take a look at the negative powers. We have negative 1, negative 2, and negative 1. Which one is the smallest? Very good. It's negative 2. As we said, it's a negative power with the biggest number. So the first one is negative 2, which is this one. And then comes negative 1, right? But we have two numbers with negative 1 powers. So what do we do? Very good. We take a look at these numbers. The smallest number here, we're going to choose it as the next one. So which one is smallest, 4 or 2.44? Very good, 2.44. So this one is the next one. And then we have this one, the third. And then we have these two numbers. The same idea. We have the same powers. So we have to take a look at these numbers. Which one is the smallest? Very good. It's 2.4. So this is number 4. And then we have this number 5. Very good. Now, let's take a look at question 11. In question 11, workout calculation. Give your answers in standard form. The same idea. We're going to use the calculator here and find out what is the answer of this one in standard form. Very good. Now, what do you do to make it simpler? If you have a question like this and it's multiplied or divided, okay, let me give you a simpler way. Instead of multiplying all the numbers together, you can multiply this by this and check the answer. If the answer is in standard form, it means you're doing well. If it's not in standard, you just have to move the decimal point. Let me give you an example, okay? First thing, you need to use a calculator here. Now, I can't go back and forth to the calculator, but I have my own here and I'm going to use it. So I can give you the answers directly. But you have to use the calculator, follow the steps, and check the answers. Now, I'm going to use my calculator to multiply 3 and 2.6, and then write the answer. So, 3 times 2.6 equals 7.8. So I'm going to write the answer, which is 7.8. Let me put it here. Okay, let me make this bigger. Yes. So it's 7.8. So as we did, the first step we did is what? We multiplied these together. This is very important. and then I got 7.8. I wrote it here. Now I want to know what's the power on top of the 10. The same idea. I'm going to multiply the 10 with the power of 4 with the 10 with the power of 5. And when you multiply the same base numbers, you just add the powers. Very good. If you're dividing them, you subtract the powers. So 10 power of 4 and 10 power of 5 multiplied, we're going to add the powers. So it's going to be 4 plus 5, which is power of 9. Very good. Power of 9. Let me remove this. Okay. Now, take a look at the answer here. Do you think it's in standard form or not? Very good. It applies as a standard form because 7.8 is between 1 and 10, right? That's the first rule. And then we have a 10 with a power multiplied with it, so it's in standard form, so I don't have to change it. Very good. I'm going to do the same idea with the other questions. Let me show you question B. In question B here, I'm going to multiply 1.7 and 2. I'm going to multiply them together. I'm going to do the same as I did with the first question. So it's 2 times 1.7 equals 3.4. I'm going to write it here, 3.4. And then I'm going to multiply the tens with the powers. So when you multiply the same base numbers, you're going to add the powers. So 5 plus 3 equals, very good, 8. So multiplied by 10 with the power of 8. Very good. So is this one in standard form or not? Very good, it is. This number is between 1 and 10 and a 10 with the power multiplied by it. Very good. Now C, I'm going to do the same idea. I'm going to multiply 5 with 2.5 and write the answer. So 5 times 2.5 equals 12.5. So I'm going to write 12.5 here. Good. And then I'm going to multiply the 10 with the power. So 10 power of 2, 10 power of 8. When you multiply them, very good, you add the powers. So it's going to be 10 power of 10. Good job. 10 power of 10. Now, let me ask you this. Is this number in standard form or not? Very good. It's not in standard form. Why not? Very good. This number is more than 10. And standard form must be between 1 and 10. So we have to change this number to make it between 1 and 10. Now, to change this number, where do we move the decimal point? Very good. We're going to move it this way. Good job. So this way. So it's going to be what? Very good. It's going to be 1.25. Let me move this. So it's going to be 1.25. And I moved the decimal point to the positive side. I moved to the positive side. It means what? Good job. It means I'm going to add 1 to the power. I'm going to add 1 to the power. Because when we move to the positive side, as we said before here, let me show you. When we move to the positive side like this, it means I'm going to put a positive power. I'm going to add a power. Very good. And then if I'm moving to the negative side, it means the power is negative, or I'm going to subtract the power. Okay? So let's see here. Yes, where is it? Yes. So because I moved to the positive side, it means I'm going to add a power. Okay? Now I'm going to write it like this. Times 10 power of 11. Because I added 1 to this one after moving to the positive side. Okay? Good job. Now, let's take a look at question D. So the same idea. If my answer is in standard form, I will leave it. If it's not, I'm going to change it and see what happened to the decimal point and add or subtract 1 from the powers, depending on the movement. Now, let's take a look at question D here. In question D, we have division. Same idea, but we have division. So what am I going to do? The same thing, I'm going to divide these numbers alone and put the answer, and then divide the tens with the powers, and then subtract the powers. That's the idea. Now, let me do it with my calculator here. I have 6.6 and 2.2. So 6.6 divide 2.2 equals, very good, equals 3. So this one is 3. Now I want to know what's the power. So I divide these two numbers on each other. So one of them is power of 6 and the other is power of 2. So 10 power of 6 and 10 power of 6 and 10 power of 2. So what am I going to do? I'm going to subtract the powers. So 6 minus 2, it's what? Very good, it's 4. Good job. I think this is a mistake. They put 10 because this one's supposed to be here. And this one is here. So I think it's a mistake, yeah. So when we divide, we subtract the powers. Very good. I took this question and I answered here. I don't know about this one. I think it's a mistake. So don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah. So we subtracted the powers, we got 4. Good job. Now let's take a look at question E. The same idea. We divide these numbers. 7.8 divide 3. 7.8 divide 3 equals 2.6. So I write 2.6. And then I divide the powers, or the tens with the powers, and write the power after subtraction. Now this one, 10 power of 3, subtract 7. So 10 power of 3 divide 10 power of 7. So it's 3 minus 7. Focus on the order, okay? It's going to be minus 4. Minus 4. Good job. Now the last one, which is F, is the same. I'm going to divide these, and then I'm going to divide these. So 2 divide 8 equals what? I'm going to use the calculator. 2 divide 8 equals 0.25 or 25. So it's 0.25 multiplied by a 10 with a power, multiplied by a 10 with a power. Sorry, multiplied by 10 with the power. Now, how do we know the power? We're going to subtract these powers. So 9 minus 5 equals what? Very good. It equals 4. So I write it here. Now, I'm going to use the power. I'm going to use it to find the standard form of this number. Now, is that in standard form? Very good. It's not. It's not in standard form. So I have to move the decimal point. Now, to move the decimal point from here, and to make this number between 1 and 10, I have to move it here, right? So I moved to the negative side this time. So because I moved to the negative side, I'm going to do what? Very good. Negative means subtraction. Subtraction means you subtract one of these. So it's going to be 10 power of 3. So the answer will be 2.5 times 10 power of 3. So to know the answer, if it's correct or not, you can use the calculator to check. Power of 3. Yeah, it gave me the same answer. So to check the answer, you can multiply these and write your answer, and then multiply these and write your answer. If they give you the same answer, it means you are doing well. And this is how you answer a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.